Hello everyone and welcome to the 8th Archimakers Teatime questions. I'm Antoine and I'm pleased to be joined by Mariam, who is in my Archimate group and with me to interview today. Hi Mariam.
Hi Antoine.
There's a summer camp coming up on designing an outdoor classroom, which is a real project to be built.
Yes, maybe we can take some inspiration from our guest today. I'd love to have curvy classrooms.
Yeah, I totally agree. And if you're interested to join us, please use the link below to let us know. So today in our Teatime Q&A, we're really pleased to have Hanif Kara with us. Hanif Kara is a structural engineer and co-founder of leading London studio AKT 2. He also teaches design and is professor in architectural technology at Harvard School of Design. His office works internationally and have won over 350 design awards. Welcome, Hanif.
Hi, Hanif.
Hi, Mariam. Hi, Anton. Thank you for inviting me, and thank you to Archimake.
So Hanif, what's your tea time drink today?
I've got water.
Cheers.
Cheers. Thank you.
So Hanif, can you tell us what inspired you to become an engineer?
So when I grew up in Uganda as a small boy, which is in East Africa, and I could see the connection between the way buildings and the environment, the built environment, how it changes people's lives. So as I was growing up, I also followed my dad around a building site. And when I grew up at about 16 or 18, I started to think that what I wanted to do is work with the built environment, whether it's buildings or power stations or whatever. So it started early in my life.
That's a really inspiring reason. You get it from where you live and your surroundings.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it is a really inspiring thing.
So, what was your favorite book that inspired you early in your career?
There wasn't a particular book as such. What I think inspired me very early on was my physics teacher. So when I was about 14 or 15, he did some experiments showing me how weights can break things, strings and metal and so on. And the physics book that we had for class at about 13 or 14 was probably my favorite book at the time. So I was one of those geeks that didn't really read about much apart from maths and physics. So I would say there wasn't a single book in my early life.
Thank you.
That's basically what a structural engineer does. He has to make sure that things don't break and they're safe when other people have designed them, whether it's a home or a railway station or a school, whatever. So you need to just understand how materials work. And I was really fascinated by that, how far you can push materials.
I know you have worked on some amazing projects. What was your favorite project that you worked on?
Well, engineers are not like architects because we work with many building types and many architects. We don't support any one particular building, but we support the type of work we do. So my favorite sort of work that I've done has been with some really famous architects, which I'll show you later. But in terms of particular building that I feel made me feel really good was when I started my own office and we did the Peckham Library in Peckham. And it went on to win a lot of awards, and it was for getting small kids into the mode of going into a library. So it was a really colorful, wonderful building in Peckham, near Peckham High Street. And I think that building inspired me to think more and more. I wouldn't say it was my favorite project, but it was one of the early things that made me realize I can make a change to the lives of people through working with architects and through working with their clients and making the buildings more interesting.
Thank you. That's a really good thing to do, to be able to help people with the knowledge that you have.
Yeah. That was the whole idea.
So, we're all spending more time at home than ever before. What is it that you love most about your home that gives you a sense of well-being?
I think it's the colorfulness. As you can see, I've got a yellow background. I'm really into color in a big way. So the thing that inspires me the most or makes me feel really good is, I have a very nice window right next to where I work. And I can see the weather change all the time, every hour, which when you're in an office, you never saw that. And then also in the back garden along my street, I've been watching the plants grow and the summer come out, which, to be honest with you, for the last 20 or 30 years, because I've been busy working, I didn't really get much of a chance. And the last thing is that I have all my books surrounding me in here. I never get the chance to read them, but being at home, I've been able to read quite a lot more than I used to.
I'm homeschooled like most children in the country lately.
And I'm in secondary school, and some watching are in primary school. What suggestions would you give us to explore our interest in engineering?
So one thing is to always look up. So whenever you're at home or school or walking the streets, always look up to see what it is you're walking next to. Even in play areas like slides or swings or whatever, just see how things are made, how they stand up, what stops them falling over, how big they are, how small they can be. Because one of the things that I think interests engineering is very interesting, because even your own toys, when you first start to play with it, you'll find many engineers will tell you Meccano and all those little toys that we used to play with before the iPhone, and plasticine, we used to shape things in our younger days, stay with you for a long time. So I'd say that, if you as young kids are one thing is to look at everything that's going on around you. The other is always, now with the digital world, you have so much access to buildings that people can show you virtually how they work, how a laboratory works, how an office works, how a home works. You can see a lot of SketchUp tools, how to sketch buildings. So that's the other thing to do outside school or even within school, is to learn how to use some of those tools to draw, because drawing is the key to being an engineer as much as it is to being an architect.
Whenever I'm walking outside, I'm always keeping my head up and I'm always seeing different new buildings and the colours and the designs, and it makes me just want to go home and draw them.
That's wonderful. You should keep up the idea of drawing if you like it, because that's one thing, that both digitally and with your pencil, because you'll find that there's a time when you draw something and it is a certain size and scale, and then it becomes like a real building at a building scale. So drawing is one really interesting hobby, no matter what you do, what you study.
Hanif, I know you're passionate about mentoring and educating young people.
Yeah.
What do you think of what we are doing with Archimake, and how does it help to learn this at a young age?
Fantastic. I think that it is incredible what Archimake have done. I don't know of many organizations that get children interested so early. So I think, first of all, Archimake's doing a wonderful thing. I think that more people that get involved with Archimake, like this session that you're having with me and with others, to share our experiences, will make you youngsters face it and understand that all of you can do this. It's not really complicated. You don't really have to worry about the fact that you will have to do certain A levels, go to university, and so on. But people that grow up, like your parents, could have done any of this, and you'll be inspired by it. So what Archimate can do more, I think, is get even more people involved from the industry. And then if once COVID is over, I heard that you're thinking of making a small structure. So making something will be interesting. I know that you have workshops, and I know that when we didn't have COVID problems, you had some really good workshops, really good stuff that Cheryl and all of the team from Archimake had organized already. So I think just keep doing more and more of that, and stay interested with the industry. Visit some sites when they're being constructed. So if you live near your home safely, go and look at what's going on site, how a building comes up from nothing to becoming a home. I think these are things of site visits, making things, models of things as well, not real buildings. These are the things that I think will educate you in engineering and architecture.
Thank you so much for answering all our questions. Can you please show us a little more of your favorite project now?
So that's what I wanted to show you.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.